Hey, welcome back to the Travel Ones podcast. Today, my guest is Tony Mandarich of Mandarich Creatives, a photographer, public speaker, overall nice guy. How are you today, Tony?
I'm fantastic. I like the introduction of overall nice guy.
Well,
That's not, you don't get called that. I don't think anybody could ever get called that enough.
I agree, but it is nice.
It
Uh,
doesn't sell headline. It doesn't sell clicks or headlines, right?
yeah, I have to come up with something different for the sizzle reel. So,
So how are
so
you doing?
I'm doing well. It's getting near the holidays, so we're excited
Yeah,
about that.
yeah, yeah. I'm excited. I always like fall, because it's
Hold
not
on, hold on.
just
You live in
it's
Scottsdale.
football and
You don't get fall. You
I
get less
know.
hot.
I know. And we've had in Arizona this year's been absolutely awesome. Like, because
Yeah.
September is usually a hot month, and it wasn't. It was under 100 most of the month, which is good. And then October was even cooler, and then now November and December were even cooler. So it's the best time of year here.
Yeah, we were in Sedona in October last month,
Oh,
and it was
it's
perfect.
stunning. It is
70
stunning.
degrees,
Yeah.
58
They're
if
at
you're.
4,500 feet elevation, but they're
Yeah.
I one of my favorite places on the planet is Sedona.
It's got to be for your photography.
Yeah. And I shoot a lot of Milky Way, time lapse Milky Way,
Yeah.
uh, middle of the night, just pending, what time of year it is and stuff. But done a lot of stuff up there. It's a blast because they have a law in Sedona. I don't, I think they call it the low light law. So
Lights out at
on
10.
houses, you can't have above a certain wattage. So it really draws in, like you can really see the sky and the Milky Way after your eyes adjust for about 20 minutes. It's
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's as beautiful as I always thought it was. We went back for our second time,
Yeah.
and we always go in October for our anniversary. So
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
nice. And what's funny is I grew up in Scottsdale. I was born in Phoenix,
Okay.
and I live right near Saguaro High School.
Oh yeah.
And we never, I was just telling my wife, I'm like, I don't think my dad ever took us there. Like we went to Fallbrook and Show Low and Payson and,
Right.
you know, did all that. We just never went to Sedona when I was a
Yeah.
kid.
I think, and then back, not dating you here, but going back in
You can
that
date me all you
time,
want.
there was probably less main roads going into Sedona.
Yeah.
I've seen it expand tremendously in the last 25 years.
Hey, where McCormick Ranch is, I used to ride my dirt bike through there,
Right. Right.
like my
Yeah.
BMX bike we built. I mean,
Right.
there was no homes.
Right.
So,
Yeah, a lot has changed. I mean, a
yeah.
lot has changed that I've seen in the last 20, 25 years. And then friends that I have that have lived here, obviously, all their life said, you can't believe how much it changed in the 90s. Like, it was
Yeah,
incredible.
it's like Vegas. I mean, Vegas is the same
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
We started going to Vegas in the late 80s as soon as I turned 21, and it was like
Right.
less than a million people. It was just
Right. 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 Now it's like, it's
3 million.
incredible. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So it's built out.
Yeah.
So how did you get into photography? That's so cool.
It's a great question. I'm glad you asked.
From an all-around nice guy.
You know, it's I think it's an interesting story how I got into it because it happened during the photo shoot of the SI cover in 1989.
Wow.
Gregory Gregory Heisler, who was the photographer, like world known photographer, and think about it, it's 1989, so there's no digital photography
At
yet
all. Yeah.
at all. So we're in Venice Beach in California. I'm standing. Actually, that shot is taken. Standing on the big, huge rocks that are the breaking wall rocks from the ocean
Yeah.
going to Venice. And he's, angled. He's down, looking, shooting up because he wants to make me look larger than life. And he sets everything up, and he does his Polaroid tests, which is what you used to do with
Yeah.
film, right? Now it's like we do a test, we look at the back of the camera, and then instantly it's there. We can look at a histogram, all that stuff to measure, how much darkness versus light and mid-range things are our luminosity. But he's like, okay, we've got everything set up. He goes, everybody just relax. He goes, I need maybe 10, 15 minutes for the sun to go down a little bit more, and then the light will be perfect. So during that time, I said, do you mind if I take a look at one of those Polaroids? I'm just curious to see what the picture looks like.
Yeah.
And even though it's sunset, it's still super bright out, right? So I I go down there and I look at it and I am totally blown away at what he's got in the on that Polaroid because there's like shadows on me and like the sky behind me is like orange, like burnt orange. And I'm like, how in the world did you like how did you make it look like this? Because when you're
That's not
standing
what it
here
looks like.
looking, yeah,
Yeah.
everything is bright. And he, I'm sure he explained some things with diffusers and with reflectors and with strobes that he was using because he had like multiple assistants there.
Yeah.
But all I know is that made me like that Polaroid made me go, that is cool that you can shape light like that. And so at that point, like that's where it really piqued my interest. Now that was 1989. I really didn't start shooting photography even as a serious hobbyist till 1996, 1997,
Was
which
digital
is
in? Was it just starting?
digital started, I want to say it started in like 95.
Okay.
I'm trying
Oh,
to
it's still
think.
pretty new then.
It's still very new. Like
Yeah.
my first digital camera was a Sony Mavica that took a 3.5 inch floppy disk as the card, right? You could shoot, I think you could shoot like 10 images on it.
Yeah. And it'd be
And
full.
and then you could
Yeah.
pop it out, put it in your computer, and then it'd show up on your computer. And I thought that was the coolest thing, right?
Yeah.
Like this is incredible. This technology is incredible. And then you kind of have an idea, look, it's only going to get better. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
over
100%.
the years and decades. And then became a serious hobbyist when I retired in 99 from football and did that for probably 4, 5, 6 years, a serious hobbyist, each year getting better and better
Sure.
because I would challenge myself on getting better. And if I wanted to shoot something that I saw, I was like, okay, how did they do that with the light? And I would research it and I would reverse engineer it. And sometimes I would even contact the photographer and say, hey, I really like, you don't know me, I don't know you, but I really admire your work. I really like the way you shoot. You have a certain style. Is there like a certain basic setup that you use for lighting? And I'd say 50% of them were very receptive, and then 50% of them were like, "Oh no, I can't tell you my secrets." And I'm just sitting there going, "What secrets?" It's
Yeah.
like
I'll
it's like
figure it
they don't
out.
want me. It's like, and now since then, I've been around some like incredible photographers,
Yeah.
and they can like now I can do this too now, but they could reverse engineer any photo. They could tell you exactly how it's lit and exactly how to get the same result with certain strobes and certain diffusers and certain apertures, camera settings and stuff. But mostly it's the lighting that's very, very tricky. So I always was like, if somebody asked me about my photo, I would tell them everything I know
Yeah.
because their creative eye is different than my creative eye.
And they're
So
never going to catch the same
it's
photo.
never going to be the same.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I will say, there were some photographers, one guy named Paul Marco out of Phoenix, lifestyle and commercial photography, and Joel Grimes, who probably was one of the pioneers of composite photography and probably one of the best in the world, and an unbelievable teacher. He's here in the Valley. They taught me everything they knew, like everything they knew. I
Right.
remember Paul Marco saying, you know, you're making my ears bleed. You ask so many questions, right? And I was like, I just got to know why you did this,
Yeah.
like why you did this during the shoot. And he would tell me, and it made sense, but I didn't know why he did it until I asked. So that's like those guys taught me so much, and neither one of them was ever threatened about what I would produce because
Stealing
they were
their
like, your
thunder.
eye is different than our eye.
Yeah.
And so it's like those are things like those are two guys I'll never forget, like how much they helped me. And then, they more or less asked in return, do the same thing if somebody asks you, you
Yeah.
know. And I really appreciated that.
Well, I didn't. I was talking to my wife. The reason I really reached out to you is you made a post on social about signing autographs,
Mm,
and I'm like, I so agree with that. That just the
yeah,
mentality. Like, I mean, if it's gonna, my wife and I were just discussing, like, if it's Taylor Swift and it's gonna take her an hour and a half to sign every autograph, and she's got to catch a plane,
right.
you kind of get it.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean,
But
she's got to catch a plane, right?
yeah, but if you can sign an autograph for 15 seconds and change somebody's life for
Yeah,
10 to 20 years,
yeah. and they'll remember that the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Whether it was a good experience or bad experience, you're probably never going to meet those people again. Probably never.
Yeah.
But that impression that you leave on them, they will remember the rest of their life.
I have a book from 1976. They used to have a celebrity golf pro-am in Scottsdale.
Hmm.
And so my dad, who worked for Coors Beer at the time, he was the distributor, and they partnered up with ASU football team. So a lot of the football players would come over, and I was hanging out with different
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, yeah.
But so I go to the golf tournament, and my dad hands me the book with all the players in it,
Right,
and he goes, "Just go around asking for their autograph." I was too nervous to go up to some of them,
right.
but like because I was 9, But like Burt Jones, Jim Plunkett, I still have those autographs.
Yeah,
And that's 40 plus years ago or
yeah.
40
And
years
you
ago.
remember? I mean, and we're sitting here talking about
100%. I
it.
still look at that book every couple of years and
Yeah.
that was cool.
There was, and I won't even mention this guy's name. He's not an athlete. Very, very famous, like worldly famous author, in the self-help field.
Okay.
Um, I probably bought every book he ever had. And this was about 15 years ago. He had a book signing at a bookstore in Tempe, Arizona here. First 100 people get a ticket, and you don't have to pay for it or nothing. All you have to do is you have to purchase his book, and then he will sign
Right.
it. And when I left, I was like, I wish I never would have gone because this guy just ruined everything for me with my impression of him.
Wow.
Because he was all about the things he taught, especially the things he taught, were not just self-help, but they crossed with the spiritual, and they crossed with, you know, what he would call karma, and what you give into the world, you get back. Like he was heavy on that, and I'm like, hey, yeah,
That
that's a
sounds
good
great.
thing, right? And he couldn't, and I wanted to just say to him like one sentence. I can't like to say I can't tell you how much your books have helped me, right?
Yeah.
And he couldn't even look up. He took the
That's
book,
brilliant.
signed it, and pushed it back, and never even looked up. And I thought, so I didn't say anything, but I thought to myself, everything this guy preaches about, he's not a preacher, but everything he teaches,
Yeah.
he just threw out the window.
Yeah. For
And
a 10-second look up
for
and
10
smile.
seconds. And there was only 100 of us, so it wasn't
Yeah.
like there was 1,000 people. He
Yeah.
could have had 1,000 people. But and I thought to myself, man, I was walking out and I was like thinking to myself, man, I this just ruined it for me. Like I
Yeah.
wish I never would have done this to meet him this way. But then as the day went on, I was like, no, I'm glad. I'm
It
glad
happened for a reason. Yeah.
I'm happy for a reason, and I'm glad. And needless to say, it wasn't but a week later, I gave all of his books to Goodwill.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't read this because now I know he's not that.
Yeah.
As convicted as he is for teaching, say, be benevolent, be good to your neighbor, stuff like that, he sure doesn't practice it.
Yeah.
And so, I donated his books to Goodwill and never bought another book from him again. And, you know, I had to check myself to see if I had a resentment, and I didn't. I really had a disappointment.
Yeah.
I
And
had
it's
an
different.
expectation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But my expectation was from what he taught. And then he did the opposite. And then I've seen some other things, media related things over the last decade, a few here and there that really made me see him in a different light. And he really was about the almighty dollar, which is nothing wrong with that, but don't preach that you're not about the almighty dollar
And then be all about
and
the
then be
dollar.
all
Yeah. Yeah.
right.
No, I
Look,
get
I'm all
you.
for capitalism, trust me. But it's like, yeah, look, if you want something, like if somebody asks me, can you sign my autograph? Can you sign my football helmet, like a football helmet, if I send it to you? And I say, yeah, here, go to this link. It'll explain everything, what all different things cost, a football card to a Sports Illustrated cover to a football helmet to a mini helmet. And yeah, I mean, it's going to cost, right? It's
Yeah.
not going to cost you an arm and a leg, not even close. But yeah, there's a small fee attached to it.
Well,
So
that's normal.
yeah, I mean, it is
Yeah.
normal, and nobody really balks at it, and they're like, yeah, I mean, if they go into a memorabilia shop, they're going to pay even more.
That's a whole different thing, right? I mean,
I'm going to turn this light on. because the sun went behind the clouds and it
Well, I
got
know
pretty.
it was. I went out this morning for a little walk jog at the beach, and it was clear. And I'm like, God, it looks like it's raining out there because we have had
Right.
rain the last 2 days.
Yeah, we have too.
And all of a sudden, I'm walking. I'm like, it's raining. All of a sudden, it
Right.
rained. I'm like, just go
Right.
home.
You're
Now it's
in
clear again.
you're in LA.
We're down to beach, yeah,
We're
just
down
south
to
of
be.
LAX.
I lived in Whittier for a year.
Okay, wow,
um, and trained with my trainer there. Whittier was nice. I mean, the big claim to fame for Whittier College is I think President Ford went there.
maybe Nixon.
Maybe Nixon. Maybe it was Nixon.
Yeah, it might have been Nixon.
But I don't know how much they shouted that out after.
Probably not much.
Right.
You can go to his library is in Yorba Linda. Never been to
Isn't
it.
that Reagan?
No, no. Reagan's is up in Simi Valley. I've been to that
Okay.
one. He's
Okay.
got an Air Force One inside of it. It's awesome.
That's pretty awesome.
Just to walk in an Air Force One. It's
Right.
weird. Yeah, you go into a 1980s Air Force One, you're like, eh.
Right.
It's
You're
like
like,
going
look at
into
this.
it's like
There's
going into
no,
you see Graceland or whatever, and you're like, eh.
right.
Compared to now, it's like,
Right. 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 Yeah. The
yeah.
technology's changed so much.
Yeah, so Nixon's in Yorba Linda, and then Reagan's up in Simi Valley, just north in the valley.
I've never been to a presidential library, but I'm sure that they're pretty impressive.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't been in Nixon's.
Right.
And I think his was built before it became a thing. Like it was
Okay.
just something you did. And
Yeah. Yeah.
but Reagan's was, I mean, to see an Air Force One indoors, it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty
Christ, that's a
incredible.
real plane inside the
Right.
building.
Right.
Like it's a real building.
Wow.
So yeah, that's pretty neat. And it wasn't that much. For me, like I travel a lot for my day job. I mean,
Okay.
it's what I do. And so travel wins comes from trying to create, like I always got stressed out. Like I'm a sales rep. So like I drive 3 hours to go to a meeting and I'd be stressed about like, man, I've got to sell this much to make this much to pay for my gas, my food,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
and I found myself not being as productive. So I would try to find wins along the way. So whether it
Okay.
was, man, I just avoided an accident or I took a different route.
Right.
I stopped at a building I've always looked at, wanted to know what it was. And, so I created separate, smaller wins so I wouldn't be so stressed. And all of a sudden my sales started going up. So that's where the
That's
travel
awesome.
wins came from.
Direct result of that, you think the approach?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because instead of me thinking, okay, well, I got to bring up this, I got to bring up this, I got to do this, I got to do that, I would I'm an overthinker, so
Yeah. Yeah.
I would take my mind off of it a little bit, and the podcast has done that same thing. Like now, I think
Mhm.
about the podcast a little bit, so it just takes my mind off over analyzing every single
Right.
thing I did wrong at a meeting.
My girlfriend has a funny phrase. She'll always say, "Are you overthinking what I'm overthinking?"
Exactly.
And I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah. Well, you could be like I always tell people I drive for a living and I do meetings in between because
Yep.
I'm in California. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I go up to San Francisco, Fresno, down basically to the border, down Chula Vista and Calexico.
So San
So
Diego for you is what, 2, 3 hour drive, 2 hour?
with or without traffic, yeah.
Well,
San Diego proper, San Diego downtown is about 2 hours, just over two
that's
hours.
not too bad. And then San Fran be what, 6 or 7?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
7. So
Okay.
for the actual city, it's about 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
San
you're
Jose is
in a
6.
good kind of central area for the whole state.
Yeah. So I can spoke out. And then I have Hawaii as part of my territory, but I go once a year for that
Yeah, yeah.
because then I
I
wouldn't
bet
make
you
it.
don't mind that trip.
Yeah, that's the one my wife goes, I'm available. And I go, I didn't
I,
tell you when I
I
was
just
going.
I
She
just
goes,
cleared my schedule.
yeah, she goes, yeah, it's okay. I'm open. I just
Right,
opened up a new store on the Big Island, so I'm gonna have to go
right,
over there
right.
hopefully February or March again.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But I I take photos, but I'm not a photographer like you.
Well,
So
you are though. I mean, if you take photos, like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's your creative, right? Like what defines a photographer, right? Like what
Sure.
defines a professional photographer? Well, I guess when you start
Well,
making
when you go to
revenue.
TonyMandarich.com
No.
and you see those photos, you're like, that guy's a fucking
Well,
photographer.
thank you. But I think I always defined a professional is if you're making a career out of it,
Yeah.
you're probably good enough to be like considered a professional, but there's a lot of self-proclaimed professionals that aren't making a living out of it, but they're still good. So that's why I always
Yeah.
say, look at that. That is your creative vision, what you take a photo. And you know what? The best the best camera on the market is this one.
100%.
100, the camera that you have on you is the best camera on the market because I don't always lug around my big camera,
Yeah, I'm the
you
same way.
know.
I have
And
a
yeah,
Canon, and
yeah,
uh, and I'll take it to Hawaii. I'll take it to
yeah,
Sedona.
yeah.
But I mean, have you seen some of the features on the I don't know if you have the new Apple, but
On the new iPhone,
yeah, the cleanup feature.
I haven't seen that feature yet.
Oh my God. If there's a person in your photo, you literally swipe your finger on it,
And it
and
takes them out.
it takes them out.
Wow.
If there's a bird that you don't want, you just
Right.
rub your finger on your phone, gone.
So if somebody's photo bombing you from behind, you can just,
Instantaneous.
wow, isn't that something?
It's instantaneous.
Wow. Wow.
It's
Can it
like
make me look younger?
we have filters for that, Tony.
I mean, let's
Trust
not
me.
talk about doing miracles now.
Wow. There's a limit. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Even Apple has a limit for stuff like that.
Now, but even yeah, that gets a whole different thing.
Yeah,
Because
I know.
I always say women use makeup as it's a filter.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah,
like
more or less. I mean, there's nothing, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with softening up wrinkles or anything. Just don't make yourself look 20 years younger. Like,
yeah, yeah,
because then when you meet somebody, it's like, who are you? Right?
yeah,
It's like, well, I'm like that person. Well, boy, was that your daughter in the picture? Or
yeah,
something. So I find people sometimes will overdo it, but everybody's got their own thing.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the beauty of
Yeah.
free choice.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you also you're doing some public speaking, right?
Yes, yes, I've been doing public speaking for quite a while, but it really, came to a crashing halt in 2020 with
Yeah,
what was going on in America and the world. And and then it started to pick up again, but then it kind of slowed down again because of economic things, right?
sure.
So it all made sense, right? But then has never really super picked up again. But actually today, I just got off the phone with a friend who's got contacts with certain speaking bureaus and agencies, and he's got like a good in with them. So I'm going to get more representation,
Oh,
and
good.
I just want to get out there more. I feel that my story is interesting. Even though it's an old story, it's a cautionary tale, but it deals with a lot of things like everything from overcoming adversity to having resilience to making a plan, to move forward. I mean, there's so many different talks I have that
Yeah,
are directly related to my personal life experience that I've shared in the past and that I can share still. And so I'm leaning heavy on that right now.
got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I haven't brought up your football career on purpose because you played football for about 10 years, I figured.
7 years in the pros, yeah,
Yeah,
7.
yeah, but then you had college, and then
5 years of college, yeah, so 12,
yeah. You've been
and
a
4 years of high
photographer longer
school.
than you played football.
Yeah, 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 you're right. I haven't made as much money in photography as I did in football. I'm still looking to cross that threshold
Well, you should. Do you ever do corporate work?
for photography.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the time.
Okay.
Yep.
Because like the girl with the tank top and the cowboy hat and the truck on the side of the
Yeah,
freeway. I
yeah,
mean, I'm in the Western industry. That's what I work for Stetson. So
yeah.
I look at it and go, God, man.
That picture is, if I don't have it pulled up, but it's about 7 different pictures put together.
Yeah. I figured the truck.
Yeah, well, she's
Yeah.
in the studio.
Yeah.
So I photograph her in the studio knowing what the final image will be or approximately be from discussion with the art director. And then so I'll shoot it a certain way, certain angles, certain heights, bring the big industrial fan in to blow her hair, like even sometimes from behind to blow her hair forward, like because everybody always has the hair blowing back,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Which makes sense, but I ended up being like, okay, it's good to have that shot too, but it's also good to have the shot from behind because it really does sell the picture that there's a breeze in the air. It gives you the feel that there's a breeze in
Yeah.
the air just from the motion
Not a
of,
stagnant shot.
yeah, yeah. But that like horizon down is one picture, the sky up is another picture, the
Hmm.
ravens are another picture, the truck is another picture, all put together. And then you got to make sure the aspect ratios are right so it doesn't look wonky. Because
Yeah.
sometimes I'll sit there and look at it and I'll be like, I don't know
Okay.
what it is, but something's not right.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I like the girl that's scaling the mountain climbing,
the
and you actually
cliff.
write your notes on it. That
Yeah,
made sense to me when I read that.
you saw that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And I wrote that was a personal project, like a personal project. And I told the girl, I said, you'll get the pictures, like so you can use them for your social media or whatever.
yeah,
And then in the notes I wrote like we're using twine rope, which is not climbing rope, obviously,
yeah,
right? It's not that professional, but in the picture it looks cooler than the professional climbing rope because
yeah,
it looks like, you know what I'm saying? Like even in the behind the scenes where I wrote my notes, I said
yeah.
twine, I said looks cooler, and it doesn't have to be all perfect.
That's the beauty of it, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the creative part.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
And one of my favorite ones is the one behind me. The
yeah,
Yeah, and that was taken, that was one of my shortest composites for editing. Like usually like a composite of the girl with the truck, that takes about 4 actual hours it took me to get that final image together. Now, that's not all 4 hours at one sitting.
yeah,
An hour and then another hour and then definitely once my eyes get tired I stop because
yeah,
and sometimes it'll take 2 or 3 days. This composite behind me literally took 20 minutes, and it's probably my favorite one of
that's
all of
pretty
them.
cool.
Yeah, and he's in the studio sitting on an old like wardrobe trunk,
Is he
so you can't
really?
see the trunk, but we made him look like he's sitting on the side of the ocean.
Yeah,
And so I put the ocean in and the skies, and there's a few little birds on the far right. I think I even put
yeah,
ravens in, which aren't around the ocean. It's more seagulls, right?
yeah.
But
That's
ravens look cool.
that's all that matters. He looks like a waterman in Hawaii.
Yeah, and sometimes I'll like name my picture just to push a theme, which a lot of photographers absolutely will not do because they don't want to push a theme. They want you to think about and whatever comes to your experience. I
Sure.
just named this one Poseidon, like a mythological,
That's good.
and I was like, you know what? I like it. I like the name and the Paul Soroka, my friend there, the subject, he loved it. And yeah, I said, let's just run with Poseidon and see what kind of jobs we can get from it.
It's kind of like, I interview a lot of musicians, and some will tell the story behind the lyrics, and some will say, I don't want to do that because I want them to come up with their own meaning.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Yep. And I can see both sides of it.
Sure.
I can see
But see, I
both
look
sides.
at that and go, to me, that's a Hawaiian waterman. I mean,
Right.
maybe it's the tattoo, the
Right.
tribal tattoo, and
Right.
he just looks like he looks like a guy I see down here
Right.
this morning.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah. And you
Yeah.
got the
He's
gymnasts, you got
and
musicians, you
he's
got a whole boxers, you got a whole bunch of stuff.
yeah. Yeah, I mean the soccer player guy, that was his 40th birthday. He's like, I think he's got one hand on the ground and he's kicking
Yeah.
the ball sideways. Like that's all in studio.
Yeah. I saw the how you set it up on
Yeah.
hanging them. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
So it worked out good. And I like the challenge. I like the challenge of doing stuff like that. Now here's the interesting thing. AI can do all of this in like
Second.
seconds, right? And that being said, you have to know the prompts. Whatever AI
Yeah.
you're using, there's one that I use a lot called Midjourney, which I think is the best one for my style. But it takes time to learn the prompting, like what works, what doesn't work. And sometimes I've come up with images that are way better than I thought by not even using the prompting I thought I would use. But then you learn, right? You're like, I
Yeah.
made a mistake, but I
It
learned
learns.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that has happened with photography over the last 20 years. I didn't realize that this light was over here and it was powered up to a super high level. I would never do that, but man, the result looks incredible.
Yeah.
And it's like put it in the toolbox, right? Put it in your notes, and learn so much like that.
You brought up AI, so I'm really curious, because I'm a proponent of it. I mean, obviously to limits, but so many people in my industry and our age group are like, ah. And I go, have you ever used it? And they go, nah, not really. I go,
Right,
let me show you how
right,
you know, and I'll take I think it's called Photo Room, and I'll take a picture of a cowboy hat, and then it'll be on somebody, and take the picture, and it scans it all out.
Right.
And I said,
It's incredible.
do you want it on a countertop? Do you want it on a concrete countertop? Do you want it outside on a fence post?
Right.
Instant. And they're like, holy crap,
Right. And that's like one example of,
Yeah, yeah. And
yeah,
that's literally just a basic, free
yeah.
app type thing.
ChatGPT, I think the best 21 bucks you can spend is on a
Oh, yeah.
ChatGPT Plus,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
don't get the $200 version, you don't need it. The $21 a month, and if you take it, and I would recommend this to anybody, if you take an hour a day, you don't even have to do an hour a day, you could do 15 minutes a day, learn something new about how to prompt it, how to set up the
Right.
system preferences or the system directions, instructions for your chat. Um, I tell you what, that every day I use it. Every day I use it, and it doesn't replace my thinking. It
No.
actually expands my thinking in the way of I never would have thought of that idea. I
Yep.
said, give me 10 ideas for this. I never would have thought of that idea. I'm going to run with that idea, expand more on it, and then I get deeper and deeper. But it doesn't replace your thinking. Like a lot of people I've heard say, well, we're not even thinking for ourselves anymore. And I'm sitting there going, well, geez, I'm thinking like crazy
Yeah.
trying to
Well,
think.
and you could not use it. You could use it to replace your thinking. But
Yeah,
I'm
you
like you.
could.
I say, give me 10 options for a title for this podcast episode with
Yeah,
Tony Mandarich.
yeah,
And it'll say da 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 da. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I kind of like
yeah.
that.
Things that you never would think about.
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
I might change it a little bit or say
yeah,
this or
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah,
it gives me multiple ways to think about something.
yeah. My TikTok like feed videos that I put on there, most of them will come from a script that I ask specifically, that I ask ChatGPT to make me. Once I narrow it down to the topic, I'll say, make
Yeah.
me a 61-second script on this. And then out of that 61-second script, I'll probably change 20% of it to make it more like me,
Yeah.
to make it sound like it's coming out of my mouth. But that being said, I already have the system instructions in my ChatGPT to know when it gives me answers or scripts that it's talking from my perspective. It
Right.
knows all my history. It knows how I see the world, what I believe in, that I played football, that I was a photographer, that I was a financial advisor, that I owned a golf course at one time, what my religious beliefs are. Just, I put all of that stuff in there. I want it to know my profile. Now, there's people that are like, you're crazy. It's going to, like, people are going to know everything about you. And I'm like, well, they already do. They're just not telling you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I got nothing to hide.
Well, that's what I was telling my wife too, because she's anti, you know,
Yeah,
until she needs it.
right,
Yeah.
right. Can you do this for me, honey?
Yeah. I'm
Right,
like, yeah, sure, I can do that. Hold on.
right,
Yeah. But I, I've heard a lot of business people that I've interviewed say you're not going to be it's AI is not going to replace you. It's someone that knows how to use AI better is going to replace you.
correct. That's a, that I would say that's very accurately said.
Yeah, I mean there are
Um,
some. I mean we've been around. It's like I remember cassettes. I remember record players. I
yeah,
remember Circuit City. I
yeah,
remember
yeah.
Blockbuster.
It's constantly changing,
You know,
and it
I remember my dad had a Mac SE20. It was a 20 meg hard drive.
right,
Don't touch it. I was like, no, no, don't touch
right,
it.
right, right,
And I was like, well, I'm not going to
yeah,
break it. Don't
right,
touch it. And now I take photos that are 8 megs, you
right,
know, and
right.
it's just like
Well, yeah, I think the
you put it in
Commodore
RAW
6,
and you're like, oh, there goes a
yeah.
member.
And the Commodore 64, that initial Apple piece or desktop, I don't even think it could boot up without a disk in it. Like I don't think there was a hard drive. Like I think I may be wrong, but
I'm trying to think.
I think it booted off of a disk that you put in it, which was pretty amazing. And then I remember, look, Microsoft, Bill
Yeah.
Gates, pretty smart guy with Microsoft and what he did and stuff. Don't agree with his stuff later in life, but when I thought it was amusing when he said, we're never really going to need more than, 1.44 megabytes.
Yeah.
Like, what are we going to need it for? And I'm sitting there going, okay, this is a guy that had a vision, right? And
Yeah.
then he says something like that. And little does he realize, I mean, obviously, probably soon after that, he realized, yeah, probably shouldn't have said that. So it's kind of nice to be like, it does humanize them, you know?
And here's a terabyte external hard drive.
Right,
You
right.
know, it fits in my hand.
Yeah. Here's, 8,000 Commodore 64s
Yeah.
on one thing, right?
That was my what I consider my first like corporate real job, professional job was I sold computer software for Commodore 64 128s
Wow.
and then the Amigas. And
I
it,
forgot all about them. Yeah.
yeah.
That,
So
yeah, the changes that
a
like,
3.5 disk drive was huge because they had the 5 1/4s, you
and
know.
then, yeah, which we held even less.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
And then they went to what, zip drives.
Yeah.
They were a little bit chunkier. And then from there, I think it went to CD-ROMs and then DVD, like the ones
Yeah,
with more capacity.
yeah.
Yeah, it is
That's why I
like
don't
you and
understand
I,
people
you
that
and
fight
I.
our age, that fight AI. And I'm like,
No, it's like you remember in the mid '90s when the internet came out.
I sure do.
It was like, I mean, I would catch myself. It'd be like 1:30 in the morning because I'm like fascinated that you can
This is
find out
so
this stuff.
cool.
And then it's
Yeah.
like, I gotta get to bed, right? Like this is like time just flies. And it to me, like the AI is kind of like the internet's here.
Yeah.
Maybe not as impactful from a perspective of, oh, this AI is incredible. Because when the internet came out, that was pretty incredible. But
It's
the
hard to
AI, I think, will have more impact
it's hard to
as
explain to
far as
people life before the internet. Like, I mean, just in general. Like I always joke, I always say, I want to give my daughters are 30 and 31 now, but if they're in their 20s, I'd love to give them no phone. You have to get from LA to Florida. How would you do it?
and a Rand McNally atlas.
Well, they gotta go buy it. They
Right,
would have to
right,
know to go buy a map.
right,
You know what I
right.
mean? It's like
You know?
no phone. How would you do it? And maybe give them a phone, but a dumb phone, just a phone number.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, yeah, not even a flip phone, just like a phone, like you
Yeah,
can
a
make a phone call
bare
on.
phone. Yeah, yeah.
And
Could you
yeah,
get?
I mean,
Could you
yeah,
call the? Would you know to call the cab company? Would you know to call
right,
Delta? Would you know to call Zero for the operator to get you?
right.
Yeah.
Remember 411?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's not even talked of anymore.
I know.
And remember dial tone, the dial tone?
Yeah, yeah. My
I
mom
mean,
worked for Mountain Bell
yeah,
and
I
Pac
mean,
Bell.
people don't, I
Yeah,
mean, you and I remember dial tone,
yeah,
but
yeah.
people like, what's a dial tone?
Well, yeah, and you explained to him the AOL crunch. You couldn't be on the phone and be on the internet at the same time. Yeah,
Remember all those discs, the AOL discs, like
yeah.
165 free hours of internet,
I found one. I have one. It's in my history bag.
that may be worth something,
Yeah.
you know.
It's, yeah.
But yeah, it's been, I think that we grew up in a very cool time,
100%.
you
I
know.
talk about that all the time. Well, like I
Yeah.
told you, I just had a good weekend with my high school buddies,
Yeah.
and we had
Yeah.
all those conversations.
Because the Industrial Revolution we had just missed,
Yeah.
but we're in the midst of it also too, but we just missed it. But then, the technology version was incredible. And it was slow in the 70s and 80s, and then once the 90s hit, it just
Yeah.
ramped and just took off.
Well, I've heard they say basically kids under the age of 30 are digital natives. They've never known life without computers,
Right,
without internet, without phones.
right,
So
right.
you can't
Yeah. You
really
can't
explain.
unteach that.
Yeah. And that's what people are like, oh, AI. And I go, hey, that genie's out of the bottle. Did you just see right now the number one country song in the country is an AI generated song, singer. And it's the number one country song in the country right now.
And that is
There's no one
everything
singing
is originated from AI.
everything.
So it wasn't ripped from another
Nope.
artist or nothing.
Nope.
Wow, that's
And
incredible.
so I'm like, I can't sing a lick. Like I have a good voice for
Right,
this, but I can't sing a
right.
lick. I'm like, I got to check this out because
Yeah.
one of my buddies is a singer. He sings with Big and Rich,
Okay.
and I'm like, he sent it to me, and I was like, I got to try it.
Right.
It's incredible. I
Really.
literally talked into this thing, and it used my voice, a sample,
Right.
and I said, create a country song about this.
And it did it.
10 minutes later, I had
And pretty
lyrics.
good.
Um, my wife didn't like it until I told her that was my voice. She goes, "Oh my God, it is your voice."
Well, think about it. You could customize a song singing like an anniversary song.
Yeah, that's what I did basically.
That's pretty awesome. Like that's pretty cool,
Took
right?
10 minutes.
Here's the thing.
Musicians are not happy about that though.
No, I could see why. I mean, just as photographers aren't happy about it,
Yeah.
because a lot of jobs now are going in-house or on a computer, period. But does that, do you lose a little bit of the nostalgia of the whole creation process of the music from an artist when they were broke, and they were living in a garage, like, four of them, and then they meet up with these other two guys, create a band, and then there's a whole story behind it. Like, I love that stuff. So I'm not knocking the AI as far as what it produces, but in a way, it's like you lose that story.
But then you also don't get, see, you're the nostalgia person. I am
Mhm,
too. But
mhm.
you forget the drummer that wanted a bigger cut, or the
Right.
guitarist's wife that didn't want him touring that much,
Or they all had drug and alcohol problems.
or any of the
Right.
actual problems that
Right,
go
right, right,
along.
right,
Oh, my voice went hoarse because what they're saying is, oh, that will never replace live music, and they're saying they'll get a hologram and do an AI generated hologram of a country
right,
singer
right.
singing that song live on stage.
Yeah.
And you don't have a band, you don't have tour buses, you don't have
Would you pay to see that?
no.
Neither would I.
But I'm also of our age. Would a
Yeah.
22-year-old who's never not known AI
Yeah. They'd probably think it's
probably
cool.
would. Yeah.
I'd probably think it's pretty fake.
Yeah, but
Although I would appreciate what they're doing, but I wouldn't go if it was free.
exactly.
Like if Guns N' Roses, I love Guns N' Roses. I love
Motley
Queen. I love
Crue.
Queen. So
Yeah.
Queen is a band I could not see now anymore.
Right.
But if they did like a thing with Freddie Mercury and stuff, like one of my favorite bands, right? And I'd be like, no, I don't care how good it is. I'm afraid that it's going to ruin my experience of the actual Queen band.
Well, I haven't heard it, but I heard of it was Chester Bennington from Lincoln Park, who passed away,
Mhm.
is doing songs with Elvis duos,
Oh yeah, I
and you're
mean,
like, hold on a sec.
yeah,
I don't want to ruin my memory of Chester or Elvis,
right,
but
right,
it's their voice. They can just scan it in and it's their voice.
yeah, yeah.
And they're
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to come down to the individual, like, and then the era that you're born in, right?
yeah, yeah.
So.
And that's going to change.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Think 60 years from now. Like,
I can't. That's why I say all the time, I
yeah,
won't be here, but
yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah,
That's what I talk about my grandkids, they're 2.5, 9 months, and one's due in May. And I'm like, what are they going to see in their lifetime?
right, right,
I
mm,
mean, I'm already talking to my grandkids on my phone, FaceTime,
right,
real time.
right,
We were in Japan on vacation, FaceTiming my grandkids in Tennessee.
right. Yeah, I mean, and that's pretty awesome because that does keep the family connected,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Visual and audio and everything. But at the same time, how many times is it said, or the circumstance like comes about where it's like, you know what, we're not going to drive the 3 hours to go see you because we'll just see you online. Like we'll do a FaceTime for an hour, and it's like, well, I really would love it if you're here for Christmas, you know.
Yeah. But it's like seeing the Grand Canyon, right? How would you,
I
I
only need
mean,
to see it once
I know we just did it. And
because it's so massive.
how do you
Like
explain how
you're in
big that
awe
is?
when you see it. You're in awe.
Yeah.
If you ever go back, unless you're going to hike it or something, you're
Yeah.
going to go.
I'm not doing that.
It's as awesome as it was, but you can't see any change, right? It's still awesome, but it's like
Yeah, yeah.
it's not like seeing it the first time,
I've seen it twice, right? And I saw it with my daughters when they were little, and then I just saw it last month.
right?
And but so here's how my brain thinks, Tony. Where did all that dirt go?
It got washed away with the
Where?
river
I mean,
down
it's
the
how much?
Snake River, right?
Yeah, no, it's the Colorado
Col
River.
Coming out of Colorado, and then it eventually ends up at the ocean, right through
It ends up at
California.
the Salton Sea.
Okay, so I mean, I would imagine it just washes out through there.
Yeah, I know, but that's a lot of dirt, man.
It is. It,
Just think
it,
about
it
how much
is.
how much dirt got displaced over millions of years. Where'd it
Yeah,
go?
yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
That's
I
the weird
mean,
stuff I
look,
think about.
I mean, we've seen what like, on the news, we've seen like, flash floods and what they do,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Like
like
take out.
I was in Hawaii right before the last big volcano that took out all the
Yeah.
homes, and then
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
went back,
Yeah.
and because I have good stores on the Big Island, we went back and did a tour of what we saw on TV, and like you saw that island get built.
Right.
Like it literally, you're seeing homes get just they're under the
Right.
100 feet
Right.
of lava.
So now do that times
More
thousands and
years.
thousands of
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
And then I guess you kind of go, yeah, I guess I could see how it happened. I don't
Yeah. But that's the stuff,
maybe,
weird stuff I think about in our old age.
yeah, maybe erosion really is a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It gets a whole bunch of interesting
Right.
questions, though, right? So when you travel, did you do any like? Could you could travel for photography?
Mhm.
You're still doing public speaking engagements, maybe not
Yeah.
as many, but you still got them.
Yeah.
Wh- do you have any travel tips? What's your kind of go to?
Well, when I do travel, and it's usually like, especially if it's something like a photo, I mean, a speaking gig.
Yeah.
I will, make my stay at least one extra day, sometimes 4 or 5 extra days after the event, because I'll go to Google Earth, I'll go to all my apps that I use for photography, and I will scout the areas around. Like, now some places have cool stuff, right?
Yeah.
And you'll scout it out, and then you can tell with the date I'm going to be there, and then where the sun is going to be, where the sunset's going to be. It gives you all the information. And then you could plan out like a shoot, right? And now if there's enough interesting things, you just stay longer and then check where the sun is on the next day. And then keep your fingers crossed that it's not cloudy. But sometimes some of the best pictures I've gotten when it was foggy, because it's like, oh, I wish it wasn't foggy, but I'll still shoot and I'll get these pictures and they turn out incredible
Yeah.
because it looks mysterious, right? And then I've gone back and taken the picture when it's clear and not nearly as impressive as the fog. So it's like a by chance thing. When I was in Saskatoon, speaking at University of Saskatchewan in 2019, I stayed an extra 3 days because ESPN E60 was filming for the documentary. But one of the reasons I stayed was I wanted to shoot the Northern Lights
Yeah.
because we were so far north already in Canada, and we got some. We didn't have tremendous Northern Lights, but we had some, and we got to shoot some grain elevators that that just aren't used anymore, and they're
Yeah.
just so epic, just incredible. It was such a cool thing.
So that's the one thing I do too now is when I first started traveling a lot, I would literally, if I had to be there on Friday, I would fly in Thursday night late,
Mhm.
work Friday, work Saturday, and fly home late Saturday. And now I'm like, and then I'd come home, people are like, hey, did you go see that? And I'm like, see what?
Right,
You know,
right,
oh, you were in Louisville for a week. Didn't you go to the Muhammad Ali Museum or the Louisville
right,
Bats
right.
Museum or the river? And I'm like, no, I was working.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I try and do that too. Sometimes it's just a half day, you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'll
yeah.
I'll schedule an extra. I'll take a later flight. Like when I go to Dallas, I went to the Dallas where they filmed the show Dallas,
Oh, okay.
South Fork
Yeah,
Ranch.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then I get home and I take pictures and I post them. And I have friends that live in Dallas go, I've lived here for 25 years. I've
I've
never
never
gone
been.
there. I'm like, dude.
It's Listen, I grew up 45 minutes from Niagara Falls, and it was like I don't think I went to Niagara Falls till I was like 16.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what I was telling you about Sedona. Like growing up in Phoenix, we went to go fishing, and there was no fishing in Sedona, so we never went through Sedona. My dad
Oh,
was very
right, right.
Midwestern.
Yeah. Yeah, Sedona's culture is interesting.
Yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
very
I mean, yeah.
it's interesting. There's nothing wrong with it. It's interesting.
Well, yeah, and I think that's why my dad probably didn't go back in the 70s when we lived there because it was the hippy dippy stuff. I mean, my dad was definitely
Yeah,
not that. My dad
right,
was,
right, right.
uh-uh,
Yeah.
you
No,
know.
I can relate. And if you can look past it, everybody's got their own thing, and that's fine. It's just the visual scenery of Sedona is just stunning,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
stunning.
Well, and then for me, I always appreciate when I go places and it's quiet
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
like I'm in LA. I mean, there's
Oh.
traffic trucks,
Never, yeah,
garbage
never not.
trucks,
Yeah,
firemen. I mean, just
yeah.
the airplanes from LAX. Just
The Sedona is quiet and it's really quiet, like in the middle of the night, like when
yeah.
you're shooting Milky Way and stuff. It is, yeah, it is awesome. It is awesome. It's like you look around in the sky because you can see everything so well with the naked eye. You're like, man, am I small,
Yeah.
and almost not insignificant, but for a moment you do feel insignificant compared to the vastness of everything.
Well, see, I do that with the ocean because I live
Mm.
near the ocean.
Yeah,
I was down there this morning, and you look out there and you're like, that's been there a long. I'm just a speck in the world of
right.
that.
And
You know,
three
you,
quarters of the world is that.
yeah, and you're like, the next thing you see is like Hawaii. If you go a little south, Japan,
Right,
Asia. I mean,
right.
but that's thousands of
Yeah,
miles
yeah,
across.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
like
it's incredible. It is incredible.
I do that all. I mean, just anything like that rock's been there a lot longer than my lifespan.
Yeah, yeah.
That
And
cliff or
yeah,
whatever.
I think those things are important to do, like because you never know whether you reflect, whether you just have perspective. I think it always stimulates creative, good thought, you
Yeah.
know, stuff like that.
Do, do you do you find yourself as you get on because we're almost the same age? Do you find yourself thinking about that more now? 'Cause I
Reflecting,
remember in my 20s and 30s, I was like, I had my kids, it's like I got to
right,
work, I got this,
right,
I got soccer practice for the kid.
right.
And now I'm like kind of sitting back going, kind of cool.
Yeah, I was in the 20s and 30s, I was running and gunning like, there's no time to stop. Like
Yeah.
you got to go. You got to if you're going to get things done, you got to get it done. That was the attitude. And then in my 40s, it was like it slowed down a little bit, but in my 40s, it was almost like I got to do this before I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Like, because I know I'm getting older, but you're still like you're in your 40s. You can still do most things, right?
Yeah.
And then in my 50s, even, now I'm 59, almost 60 in next September. So early 59s, but it's like way more reflecting now, way more reflecting. Yeah, and then choosing what I do, like on purpose, like
Yeah.
what I choose to do that's an activity is thought out. It's sometimes it's spontaneous, but it's usually thought out because I don't want to waste time, right? But there isn't also I don't feel a sense of urgency. Like I don't feel I'm missing anything.
See,
Where I did
I feel
feel like that
pretty
in my
good.
40s.
I told my daughters, I'm like, I feel good. Like, I don't feel like I thought I would feel in my late 50s.
I thought, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't feel like I don't feel like I'm 59. I know I don't think like I'm 59.
I had two of my friends that I was with last weekend have already turned 59. And I was like, I didn't feel that, I don't
Right.
in my head.
Yeah, and I feel nothing like what I thought late 50s would feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, I have some ailments, physical ailments just from football, but nothing that is like my mind is still pretty clear, I think. And yeah, I think about, okay, how can we refine something like, even earlier talking about ChatGPT, just kind of
Yeah.
like trying to always kind of like not get an edge on people. It's just to get an edge on myself so I can keep improving. I don't ever want to stop improving whatever I'm doing. And, that ChatGPT is a tool. It's a
Yeah.
tool to,
For me, YouTube is that tool too, because
yeah,
I'm still lifting. But now I'm watching videos how to lift when you're in your 50s,
yeah,
do
yeah,
full body, higher reps, not heavy
yeah,
weights,
yeah,
avoid these exercises.
yeah,
So I'm trying
yeah.
to do it smarter, but yeah, it's all about longevity now.
Yeah.
Also
Yeah,
my grandkids.
100%. And yeah, longevity and quality of life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want that quality. I mean, I'd rather kick it at 80 with good quality than live to 100 and not have good quality for the last 20,
I'm with you. I
you
mean,
know?
I think my dad said the same thing, but then obviously, I don't know. I get upset now because my dad passed away with Alzheimer's.
Mm,
And then you learn that Alzheimer's, for maybe not 100%, but you can slow it down, you can deflect it, you can even
right,
reverse it by
right,
diet.
right.
And
My mom died of Alzheimer's too.
the things that we were told about it because
Yeah.
when my dad got diagnosed with it, all of a sudden you start studying it, you know.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And I don't want to get it.
Right.
I
Right.
saw what it
Right.
did to him.
Right.
So,
Yeah. My dad, he passed away in 2022. He was 92 years old, and he was a hard laborer his whole life. Like he was professional lumberjack for 10 years in northern Canada. He worked construction. He worked on the assembly line at Ford. He worked on the assembly line at Mack Truck. He worked on the golf course, like physical labor stuff. He was
yeah,
always physical labor. And I always thought to myself, even in my 40s, I thought, I wonder if that's going to hurt him in the long run because it's going to wear him out, or if it's going to help him in the long run because he's not going to slow down. And it definitely helped him. I mean, he started to not be mobile in the last 3 months before he passed.
yeah.
And I think
But
that was one of the big reasons because he was now not self-sufficient anymore. But man, he could outwork when he was 70, he would outwork me on the golf course.
wow.
And I was like, man, you
But
can't tell.
that's what I'm learning now is to still lift weights, like because that's your muscles are your last thing to go.
Yep,
Uh, your strength will go and your tendons will go, but you
yep,
know, so keep lifting and doing squats, even
yep.
just body weight squats.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
stretching, lifting. I mean, I have an infrared sauna I've had for 10 years. I mean, it's a two-person sauna, but it's really only a one-person sauna if you're me.
Yeah, I
And
was gonna say.
it's 4 feet by 4 feet, and it's like 6.5 feet tall. I can't stand up straight in it,
Yeah.
but I can almost, but I use it 4 to 5 times a week for 20 minutes a night. And it's not a typical sauna, it's infrared. So it'll only go up to like 155 degrees, but the infrared penetrates your organs in your body. So a lot of people will use it for injury. A lot of people will use it as a proactive thing
Yeah.
for, just, staying healthy. And I've had that thing for 10 years and I use it all the time. And I'm telling you, it is incredible. You get toxins sweat out of you, and I'll go from the sauna right to the shower and just
Just
shower
bring it
everything
up.
off and then go to bed and I'll sleep great. It's one of those things again that you are curious about how can I give myself the best chance,
Yeah.
within reason, right? Of finances and stuff, because some of these things are some of the things that people use that work, but they're like hundreds of thousands of dollars, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the infrared is great. The cold plunges are great. If you don't have cold plunge, do a cold shower for 2 or 3 minutes, which
Yeah.
I think is harder to do, a
I
cold
do
shower,
too.
because your body will not build a cocoon around itself.
Yeah.
Where in an ice tub, it will build a cocoon around itself. So after 30 to 45 seconds of the 3 minutes that you're in, it's totally bearable.
Yeah. Well, it's like if we go out to the ocean here, it's not quite that cold, but it's still it'll wake you up.
Yeah, yeah. It'll wake you up for sure.
So it's like you just go up to your neck and just kind of hang
Right,
out and then
right,
go back in. You're like, oh.
right.
Well, hey Matt, what do you have coming up? Do you have any
I
content?
mean, I'm in the I think it's too early to talk about my second book. I'm in the early stages of writing the outline for it. It'll probably come out in the summer. My biggest thing now is I'm going to go heavy into the public speaking
Yeah.
push, and I'm going to I'm heavy already on the TikTok. Doing TikTok lives 5 or 6 nights a week around 5 or 6 p.m. Pacific time or Mountain time. And just, I'll always put like the topic can be, I'll either put, faith, sobriety, football, but really the topic is anything. It could be
Yeah.
anything. There's certain things that we've talked about that will flag you, like elections and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, if somebody brings that up, I'm like, okay, we can't talk about that. I don't want to get flagged.
Man, it's so weird that you say that because I've had like Tulsi Gabbard. My episode with her got flagged by YouTube.
Yeah,
And I'm like, she wasn't running for an office.
right,
She wasn't in office, and we barely talked about it. But
right.
her name being
Just the
associated with
name,
it,
right? Yeah, we talked about it one night, and you know what? If you look at the context of us talking about it, it was not the main topic.
yeah,
We were being pretty sarcastic about the joking of, but as soon as we said
certain words.
the model, no, we said the model of the machine that was tabulated through. We said that, don't
Yeah,
say that name.
yeah, yeah,
You know what it is. Starts with a D, but as soon as we said that, within 30 seconds, I had a pop up on my live saying, you're gonna if you know you're gonna be flagged. This is a warning.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the first time I ever got a warning.
Yeah, I literally, I've had a few like that where it's
Yeah.
like, because I don't talk about politics. I mean, that's not my,
Right. Yeah.
unless you're,
Yeah.
I want to talk to Tulsi because she traveled
Right.
extensively as a
Right.
congresswoman coming
Right.
from Hawaii to Washington and then as running for president.
Yeah.
Got instantly
Yeah.
flagged.
It's
And so
interesting.
they had turned off because I was like, man, my views were just like right here. And as soon as I appealed and they approved the appeal, which means a human actually
Yeah.
listened to it,
Could see the context. Yeah. It went right back up. Yeah.
thousands of views
They
instantly.
throttle it. They throttle it down. So does TikTok with the
Yeah.
FYP.
Yeah.
They throttle that stuff down. You know when it's
When it's hitting.
being held back. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
But yeah, TikTok's the big thing. I would encourage people to go to my TikTok, and it's my name, Tony Mandarich, all one word, all lowercase, no underscores, no nothing. And just follow me on TikTok. And you don't have to be a football fan. You don't have to be a photography fan. Just you're gonna get kind of like what you got on today's podcast. It's just real life talking experiences, and I'm willing to talk about pretty much anything.
well, that's why I said it. That's why I was telling you. It's like I didn't want to talk necessarily about football, but you just
Yeah.
have such a positive attitude,
Thank you.
but kind of about life. I mean, and it
Yeah.
hasn't always been that way. So
No, it hasn't, but it is now. So
yeah,
that's
yeah,
good.
100%. I mean, well, I mean, dude, we've all been through.
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't met too
Absolutely.
many 60-year-olds, almost 60-year-olds that haven't been through. I just heard 12 different stories over the last weekend from all
Right.
my friends.
All right, right, right,
And
right,
I would say, I mean, dude, one had a stroke, one had
right,
open heart surgery.
right.
The stroke left him where and he was our
Yeah,
fullback. I mean, he was,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah. So you
yeah.
never know.
Yeah.
We've
I
all
mean,
been through
it's
stuff.
none of us can escape it
Yeah, yeah.
in the long run. So,
We'll
but
do our best. Well, man, I
yes,
really appreciate the time.
I appreciate you for the invite, and I hope I answered all your questions to your satisfaction or your listener's satisfaction. But it was great. I really enjoyed it.
That was a great conversation. And
Yeah,
if I get out to Scottsdale, I'll have to
definitely
check
let me
it out.
know.
Do you
We'll
have a
grab coffee.
studio or is it just online?
I had a studio for 7 years. I don't have it anymore. So if I need a studio, I can rent one. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Okay.
all my stuff's online.
Cool. Well, I
So,
appreciate the time,
all
bud.
right. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Tony.
All right.
Bye bye.